Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be continuing the narration and character voice acting for the side story So Long, Adele. And as always, to anybody who bumps into this narration through this episode, the playlist for this whole thing is in the description of the video at the very top, so you can immediately hit it and start from the beginning. And all I can say is thank you and enjoy. And speaking of thank you, as always, thank you very much for all the comments and the likes on the previous episode. Much obliged, and I always like to see and communicate with you guys, so thank you very much. And we shall now proceed into our quick recap of the previous part. So for those of you who wanna skip it, you know the drill. The timestamp is in the pinned comment down below, so just hit it and you will be straight at the story for today. Alright, but on the previous part, we began our story essentially back on Fashion Street as Costa is trying to get signatures and people to sign up for the relocation and the subsequent demolishment and rebuilding of the Fashion Street place so that something else can be put there instead of it. However, everybody declines and he once again has to leave defeatedly. Back at the museum, Ea is giving tours and gets surprised by the appearance of Swire. The two of them exchange a couple of words, but Dolly, who is trying to prove to Ea that no one can see him, decides to jump onto Swire's head, and Ea has probably the biggest internal scream panic moment of her life. Still, amazing scene. But obviously Swire doesn't notice. They continue their conversation but get interrupted by a messenger with a package. The package containing a letter which had its address bitten off. Ea opens it and discovers that inside is a picture with a couple of words written on it, the picture itself being of the same volcano where her parents passed away, and the message on its back apparently by her father, as she believes at that moment. But we will later learn a bit more about that. She then proceeds to question around if it's possible to delay mail for long periods of time, as she runs into Khan, who she asks about that, but Khan is asking her for some help because he needs to acquire some obsidian from an acquaintance of his, and is asking her to come along so that she can maybe help persuade the person. The person in question is a guy by the name of Pelipper, who owns a resort hotel, but he also owns a super large collection of obsidian that he is very happy to show off to Ea. But as they are exchanging words and pleasantries, they get interrupted, or rather Ea gets interrupted by seeing one of the sheep in a mining suit appear. She proceeds to follow the sheep and doesn't notice that she runs at one point into Ennis, or rather Ennis runs into her, or they both run into each other as he is carrying a lot of baggage at that point and wasn't able to stop. He does knock her out and carries her to the clinic that he frequents. In the clinic, we learn from the conversation that Ennis himself is infected with oropathy. He has growth essentially right next to his heart, which is pretty dangerous, of course. And he also learns about Ea's condition from the doctor there. And the doctor in question is none other than Ceylon, who has returned to Siesta to open a clinic under the Rhode Island name and treat oropathy patients essentially. Ennis leaves, leaving money behind for Ea's and his own treatment, and Ea wakes up after that and exchanges a couple of words with Ceylon. Ceylon leaves, however, a short while after that, and Ea takes out the picture that she believes has her father's words on it and starts to write her own response to it, but does also begin to silently cry. Later, she returns to the museum, and Ennis, in the meantime, runs into Swire, who conscripts him to acquire some information for him. While Ea is in the museum, she runs into two children who have snuck themselves into the museum, tells them a story as they are looking for someone by the name of Chuck, who is apparently their father, but also an adventurer who goes around the entirety of Terra, apparently. And according to Ea, she does know who it is, as her parents have told her about this person at one point, that they were helped out by him, but they were a bit lost in the jungle. Ea then later takes the two kids back home, as she realizes that the kids are the younger siblings of Ennis. In the restaurant, we see a bit of a family sort of squabble that also gets resolved, and Bird, who is currently in the restaurant singing for the restaurant itself, starts singing a particular song which appears to be one of the three things that Dolly is looking for, the North Wind. The first of the three things has been acquired. Later, Ea runs into Khan again, who shares with her a bit about his suspicions of Keller and her involvement in the matter of her parents' passing. After that, we go through a dream sequence. In the dream, Ea is going around with the little sheep, or one specific gentle sheep who is guiding her around, and Ea herself is wearing her mother's protective suit that is still on display in the museum itself. After she wakes up, she finds herself still in the restaurant of Ennis. The next morning, however, in the newly built plate, Bison discovers that the containers that are stashed there that contain goods that he acquired have all been, or rather most of them have been demolished or vandalized, essentially. And luckily, however, they were, or rather the goods inside of them, were not damaged or stolen, just thrown about. After that, we change venues. For just a brief moment, we go into another side story as we follow around Anmeyer, aka Poncerus, who is apparently currently in the jungles of Sargon, doing construction work, earning her stay and money so she can afford going back to Siesta. And we learn quite a bit about her tendency to have super bad luck. But we also see an old acquaintance from other side stories by the one of Inab. We switch then back to Siesta as Ea is being informed by Keller about the current state of the volcano, but she is also telling her that a piece of obsidian has been stolen out of the museum, or has gone missing rather out of the museum, which is a peculiar piece of obsidian considering that because of its shape and holes through it, it is able to produce sounds and almost music essentially when wind blows through it. Ea discovers that one of the black sheep has taken it and begins to go after it. Meanwhile, back at Fashion Street, Costa is still trying to get people to agree to the relocation, but is being once again just shooed away. And he, after that, wanders into the museum himself. He exchanged a couple of words with tourists that are present there, but then also runs into an old acquaintance of his that he knew since his own childhood, and that is Professor Keller. Meanwhile, Ea is still occupied and trying to recover the stolen exhibit from the little black sheep as she's chasing it together with Dolly. But Dolly has his own plans with Ea as he's trying to instill the enjoyment of life into her through these adventures. But amidst all of that, she finds herself pursuing the black sheep back to Fashion Street as the sheep runs amok, yoinking more stuff from people, but also knocking one Ennis over. But then disappears into the Mockingbird Cafe. She is wondering if she can go in, but considering that the cafe is closed, cannot enter. But luckily the owner of the cafe appears right next to her. And it is none other than Costa, who invites Ea to enter the cafe as he is also there to pick up some documents, to look for the critter that she is looking for. She is both looking for the critter, but also trying to help him look for a certain envelope. They exchange a couple of words. He realizes that she is part of the museum staff rather, and he gives her a old a book called Volcanoes that he says is or was given to him by the old acquaintance of his that works at the museum currently, and asks her to return it to her. And that is pretty much where we left off last time. So, let us begin with today's part. So then, today we shall be covering the story from stage 5 all the way to stage 6, and considering there is no story on these special puzzle stages, I will be just including them after stage 6 as mentions, aka title and description, as always. One extra thing, once we are done with the story around stage 5, we're gonna jump back here, cause I still haven't accepted our dear boy Ennis here into our ranks, so we will do that after stage 5 is done as a little bonus of the episode. But anyway, let us begin on stage number 5. I can sing a rainbow. The volcano sees me. The lyrics write me. The coffee tastes me. The seeds bury me. And we begin with a flashback. Why study volcanoes? Because I hope to play a guitar at the highest spot on Siesta one day. It doesn't have to be at the Obsidian Festival and preferably at the top of a volcano. Volcano Sonatas, that's what I'm planning to call my first album. I can't wake the volcano up. Maybe I should call it Volcano Lullabies instead. Volcanoes sleep like a log, so I don't think you'll be able to wake it up that easily. Have you heard of this about a kind of stone you can find on a volcano? When the wind blows it away, it makes a sound like beans falling into a bowl. And if you soak it in water, bubbles fizz like a complex drumline. Of course it's real. If I find such a stone on a volcano, I'll bring one back to show it to you. Back to present time. The doctor's been here. How are you feeling today? An old man lies on the hospital bed, his head tilted sideways as he looks out the window. Not so bad. If you hadn't come here to specifically remind me that I'm stuck in bed this summer, a hospital bed should be more comfortable than an office chair. Thanks for sparing the energy to tease me, but my butt hasn't known the touch of a chair for the past few days. Perhaps we should switch places. The old man turns to look at his grandson standing beside the bed. So, my boy, why have you come to see me today? There's a letter of intent for relocation that I hope you can sign. The city hall staffer whispers the words, as if admitting a mistake. A tired and bitter silence follows. It seems like this renovation plan is just so urgent that it can't even wait until I kick the bucket, huh? That's not it. I just thought you should know about it. Of course, I'd rather you get your consent. If you want to convince me, you should have at least brought Tisha along to visit. She's at work right now. Everything you do is to make a living, right? I really don't get why a girl like that would marry a boring man like you. Let's just say I've inherited your talent for making girls happy. The hospital ward is quiet, except for the faint sound of fruit being peeled. Work must have been tough these last few days. I've been having nothing but bizarre dreams lately, but after some thinking, I figured I haven't offended anyone, so my guess is that you've been chewed out by a whole lot of people. Clever, old man. You know my job so well. Well, what's your take? Are you really willing to let this shopping street get demolished and see the last traces of old Siesta disappear? Costa, there's a guitar in the cabinet behind you. Take it out and play a song for me. No thanks. You know that won't work. The old man speaks no more and turns his head away toward the window. I know that Mockingbird Cafe has been in Siesta longer than the city hall. Many of the shops on that street chose to stay when we moved from the Volcano. But there are too many factors at play that make our life difficult, and the Volcano doesn't even make the list. Coffee and music can only keep people alive at certain times. If I hadn't lucked out and gotten this job at City Hall, your medical bills would be too big a burden on the family. I'm not complaining, it's just... Alright, hand me a pen. You're such a brat, Costa. I hate that about you. Maybe I should have tossed you into the sea back when you were mixing your drip coffee with sparkling water. Thank you very much for not doing that. I do like that about you. You want to rent my hotel?
And make a little modification to the hot springs, with your permission, of course. Price is negotiable.
I'm not interested in money. It's all the same, not a shred of beauty.
Well, money isn't the only bargaining chip. I definitely have something here that you'll be very interested in. Like this, for example.
This photo? Is that a piece of exhibit-grade obsidian?
So, how about renting these few hot springs hotels of yours to me for a few days, and I'll move this piece of obsidian over?
Don't play around with me. This is from some private museum's precious collection. How could you... Wait, you...
Uh-huh.
You'll keep your word?
Words hold no proof, so let's sign a contract, shall we? Now, Sant, can you do some research to check if my plan is feasible? It's probably doable. Good, that means it is. I'll trust your judgment. No. I'm not certain. I'll need some tools and materials and a bit of... a lot of time. Gayao. I'll move on to the next step.
Very quickly here to interject, the phrase just used by Swire there, Gayao, apparently in or rather directly translated from Cantonese, just translates to add oil, which doesn't make much sense in obviously English, but in Cantonese it is used as a phrase apparently to wish someone good luck, or rather encourage someone to be more precisely like keep going, I know you can do it, stuff like that. Anyway.
Since we've decided to focus on making the residents of this street welcome our redevelopment, we'll have to make sure it's perfect. We can't waste this chance with all the tourists drawn in by Bison's ads for his trade fair.
No, not here. Data model for volcanic eruptions is definitely not in the files Professor Magna left for ADELE. But why does Keller have this notebook with her?
Good work today. Cup of coffee?
No, thanks. I'm not a coffee person. Is ADELE here today?
Today isn't a work day, so what are you doing here? Do you need these old documents for your work over at City Hall?
Keller, why on Terra did you invite ADELE here?
I believe I made it quite clear before. The research in this museum is related to the Neumanns, and the imminent eruption of Siesta's volcano is a rare observation opportunity. ADELE is their child, and also an excellent volcanologist, so it is only right that I extend an invitation to her.
Only now, after so many years with zero contact? You didn't attend the Neumann's funeral after the incident at Mount Una. You vanished without a trace from academic circles, and stopped your teaching work at the school a year ago. Just what have you been up to these last few years? What are you running from?
As you can see, the only thing I've done these past few years is organize all the volcanic research materials that now sit in this very museum. Khan, everyone has their limits. I no longer have any energy to do volcano fieldwork. I'm preparing to retire after the museum is finished, and I've observed Mount Siesta's eruption.
What? Retire? Why would you even consider retirement at all? The Neumanns left all their unpublished research data to you and ADELE, enough to make your mark on the academic world, and yet now you're saying you want to retire? Or could it be that you've already placed a price tag on that data behind closed doors and gained something even better in exchange?
Khan, I don't know what you're... Professor Keller, are you in here?
Keller, whatever your plans, I hope you'll consider the Neumanns before making any decisions. ADELE is their only child, and the only hope they've left behind. She's already contracted neuropathy, and her condition isn't the best either. I just hope she can be happy and free.
Professor Keller? I'm in here, ADELE. Come in. Professor Keller, I found the exhibit and already put it back in the display cabinet. Alright, good work. Professor, what's wrong? Nothing much. Where did you find the exhibit? It was with a pack piece that sneaked into the museum. How strange. Alright, if there's nothing else, you can... Professor Keller, there's something else I wanted to mention. I met a shopkeeper on the street, and he asked me to return this book to you. A shopkeeper in the commercial street?
Bang! I can taste the fading you in the air, so painfully bitter and sickeningly sour. Just who is it coming from?
Mr. Dolly, you scared me. Why are you here?
I just saw a beautiful streak of blue across the city. Want to go to a hot spring?
Mr. Dolly, I still have some research to do.
No. Research, such a bitter word, it makes you all wrinkly. The volcano is right there, and the material won't disappear either, so you can always come back to continue your research anytime, but...
Dolly lightly tips his toes and spins in the mid-air, in what looks to be a somewhat comical dance.
Some things are so fleeting that you'll never get a second chance to see if you miss it. For example...
Eya, finally found you. Let's go. Want to visit the hot springs together? Hot springs?
I don't have the ability to control people's hearts, by the way.
But what? Didn't bring a swimsuit? That's fine. I have one over there. Besides us two, Snowsun will be there too. And we'll also call Salem in a bit. I even bought some of the latest facial cream. They say there's volcanic ash inside. Plus, I have an important thing to ask of you, and you're the only one who can do it.
Is this the latest record player on the Colombian market? I didn't think I would be able to see one in Siesta. I've been paying close attention and they only started selling these just a few days ago. But these are the leftover stock. You already missed the first wave. You don't know this, but there was a super long line here this morning. The limited editions with Emperor's signature even come with a copy of his latest album, and that sold out forever ago. Emperor's latest album? Isn't it dropping next week? Is this what they call an early access batch? Who could even pull this off?
It's not just Emperor's album either. There's also signed copies of Miss Sora's album, a Kazimierzian Radiant Knight helmet model replica, and Czerny's clavier collection. Wait, what's this?
Huh? To think I'd find one of our Sargonian crabby pumpies here. But what use does it even have here in Siesta?
Who cares? It's cute, and that's all that matters. Did you miss the line of people queuing up to buy them?
Whoa, they even got dates here.
Dates? Excuse me, Mr. Sargonian.
Bert casually strums a Sargon-style ditty.
Can you tell me a story of plucking dates in the hot and dry breeze?
These are instruments important from Lithuania, and I have to say, those Lithuanians sure are stellar at any music-related stuff. You can try if you like, and if you don't know how to play one, I can teach you a little too. The piece I just played, I performed it when me and my wife confessed our feelings to each other. If you fancy learning it, I have a sheet here that you can have. The best snacks around here, you ask? See that bearded old man on the left? His ice cream is the best. Slowly now, take it easy. Strawberry for you, orange for you, yours is coffee. And what else? Coconut with chocolate? Oh, no need to rush, we have plenty here. And yes, that is a Ceylon summer skin design redesign, and yes, it does not exist in the shop.
Mister, give me a tea-flavored one.
Sure, coming right up.
Thank you. I'll send this to Schwartz too. It'll make her drool.
Dr. Ceylon, you're here for trade fair too?
Stop by for a stroll since I happen to have some time today.
Anis, you good lad. Thanks again for fixing the cash register this morning. Things would have been so hectic otherwise. It's nothing, just helping out is all. How's business? So good I almost thought I was back in old Siesta. But why haven't I seen that Costa fellow anywhere today? He spent the whole day running all over the place for this, and now that everything is in motion, that man is nowhere to be found. Maybe there's other work to do at City Hall today. That rascal doesn't even know how to ditch work. Boss, give me a cone. Coming! Feel free to come and try our cocktails over at the Volcano too. You brat! Ennis leans against the soda fountain, watching the surrounding people come and go. Did you see my little siblings earlier? It's their first time in such a bustling place. They kept clamoring for some volcano coffee or something on our way here, but as soon as I handed them a little pocket money, they were gone in a flash.
Though I don't think I've spotted any kids here.
The little runts aren't here. If you want to find them, you have to go over to East Street. They say there's a new amusement park over there or something. And my own brat even told me over breakfast he'd help me look after the store. I haven't heard from him ever since he learned about the place. An amusement park?
Can I open my eyes now, Miss Swire? Also, what was the important thing you were mentioning earlier? Did some of those secretly mined obsidian appear in this hotel too? Or do you need a nominal volcanologist for your work? Or... neither. No volcanoes here, and no data either. Only a comforting hot spring, so now you just have to get into some pretty clothes and then... Alright, you can open your eyes now. Wow, there's so many tourists. What happened here? Wasn't it just a hot spring before? It's so lively, just like Siesta a few years back.
A few tourists erupt into cheering, and Adele recovers from her surprise.
There's so many kayaks and water installations here. Miss Swire, are these your... Yep. This is the water park I'm setting up for the commercial street. Wow, did you do all of this by yourself? Not by myself, of course. I provided the plans, but we have our chief genius engineer from Lungmen to thank for making this a reality snow sand. Miss Swire, the title is a bit too much. Really now? Jan's number one, Tara's number one genius engineer. Wait, Snow Sand, don't run around like that, be careful.
Oh! It's flying!
How did you do that? Are these surf kayaks actually flying straight from one hot spring channel to the other? Actually, it's not as complicated as it looks. We just need to add a pneumatic ejection device on the waterways, so once the kayak reaches the spot, it'll trigger the mechanism and then it'll...
Yay! I can fly! Mama!
There aren't any guardrails on the waterways, so I'm a little worried about... I redesigned the kayaks according to Swire's plan, and they come equipped with a comprehensive emergency cushioning system. It's also the second way you can play with these, as bumper kayaks. They can freely collide on the waterways, and the cushioning system will absorb all the impact force, using it to power the kayak's water guns that spray water forward. I didn't mention it to the tourists, but many of them seem to have already mastered this secret. Look, over there.
Along with a shriek, a kayak spins in the waterway, seemingly about to fall off the channel. The airbags at the kayak's edge quickly inflate, wrapping up the passengers. But as the kayak drops, its trajectory is interrupted suddenly, as if there is a transparent barrier in the air. Water splashes on the ground, the completely wrapped kayak sways and falls downward.
Hey, you alright? Anyone hurt? I'll go take a look first, Aya. Just wait here a second.
Tourists surround the fallen kayak, but there is only giggling bubbling from the center. With a puff of the bulging air cushions, two children emerge from within.
It's all your fault for moving around so much. We didn't catch the little lamb and our Siesta adventure is ruined.
Nuh-uh, it's not my fault the lamb ran so fast.
Lamb? I don't see them here either. It must be tiring taking care of your siblings, yes? Children of that age love to play around and make so much noise.
Thanks for the concern, but it's fine this way too. They're having fun at least.
You have a lot to worry about as an older brother. Now that I think back on some past incidents, I think like a friend might feel the same sometimes.
Do you have an older sibling, Dr. Salon? I've never heard.
It's your fault, all your fault.
Hey, you brats! Where did you run off to?
Ennis! It's Ennis! We sat on a big air cushion boat and chased a fluffy little lamb.
What are you talking about? What lamb?
A fluffy little lamb that lifted our boat up with its head to play with it like a ball. When we catch it, we gotta make it sit in our boat. Ennis, over there, the lamb is back.
Where?
Look up!
Wait, these are surfboards. Why are they flying in the sky? Surfboards and swim rings. They use the hot spring steam to leap into the air, jumping over Fashion Street and into the sky beyond the tourist's view. Everyone's eyes are glued to the objects swirling around as if living creatures. And ADELE sees something slightly different than the others. The surfboards cruising across the sky have sheep standing on them. They don't seem content with just racing the waterways. Hot water, vapor, colorful surfboards and swim rings. These sheep sweep them all up, and together they pour into the hustle and bustle of Fashion Street.
This is bad. Dolly said he would teach them a lesson. Was he lying to me? Oh no, they are splashing the hot spring water everywhere. Snowsand, did you design a flying surfboard behind my back because I rejected your idea for an observation wheel suspended above the hot spring? No? Didn't you arrange this, Miss Swire? No, it wasn't me either.
The two look at each other and then hastily turn their gaze towards Adele, who has been standing to the side the whole time.
Adele? You... what? No, it's not me either. Odd, could it be Bison then? Yoo-hoo! Little lamb! Fluffy little lamb! The lamb is flying! I'll go look. Whoa! Eya, Snowsand! The surfboards are really flying. Whatever. Let's get on those things.
Who's in charge here? Quick, someone should mass produce these surfboards! Woohoo!
Mr. Dolly. Is this the hot spring you were talking about?
Alright, and now very quickly, we do have two new critters to introduce here. One being the Urban Whirlwind Walker, a mass of fluffy critters fighting over cotton candy. And it's a little hard to tell where the fur ends and where the candy floss begins. The main reason the candy house grandpa is so angry is because they snatched his wig off too. Those bastards. The other one being the Fluffy Buddy. If these gentle and difficult to perceive fluffy critters suddenly appear in front of you, don't be frightened. In the hot springs, atop the white clouds, and in your memories, will you still think of them years down the line? Alright, and we continue with the after part. Why are you still here? I'm going to be scuttling around here like a four-legged metal crab on the beach until I can get all your signatures. Fine, scuttle on then. I'm packing up, going home and having a drink. Be my guest. I bought this new gadget at the market today. This Originium microwave massager something or other. Colombian thing. I'll make sense of it, but it works wonders. Feels like real relief sticking it on my back. It's not bad trying something new. Was that shaggy backpiece riding a surfboard on the roof one of your funnies too? Shaggy backpiece? No, that's not. Shame about that. I liked it. Entertainment that good has been rare ever since we lost the Obsidian Festival. I'm glad it made you happy. Right, got something for you. A kalimba? Did you pick this up from the same market? Congrats on the marriage, Sonny. You got a safe job for your family. A boring one, but you've got a sense of responsibility. I can understand you like stability, but life's full of ways. Don't live out the hound day, son. Each day lived is a hound day. You just have to roll with the punches. I used to gamble with your grandpa, if you'll remember. We said you'd always come back from Obsidian with the grand prize one day. Honestly, what a waste of all that musical talent. If you're interested, I can still bring my guitar out sometime. Play it for you again. If you'd played as a number on that thing sooner, your letter might have been the first to have my signature on it. You... Thanks.
Miss Harley, we've recovered the surfboards that went missing here. Can you check if that's all of them? I'm so sorry about this. You helped me here. What are you apologizing for?
I didn't think these old things would ever get used again. It's funny, just who would have taken them?
Oh, well, I'm not too sure either.
That's alright, girl. It could be some tourists just picked them up while they were having too much fun. No harm, no foul. How are you? Did you have fun today? You mean getting drenched in hot spring water? Did it bring back a little of that seaside fun? It has been so lively in forever. Even the customers here to drink were all smiles. Those owners were always frowning day in and day out. Even the drink was starting to taste bad. Harley looks towards the tourists outside who still haven't scattered. Sunset gradually dyes the sky. Every single person's feeling merry. It's like we've gone back years and years. A man listlessly heads for the old cafe and pushes open its doors once again. He feels for the light switch. Carefully, he uses a rag to wipe the dust from the counter, then pulls the equipment out from the cupboards, before pulling a pouch out of his chest pocket. Fresh coffee beans, brought back from the office. Like so many years ago, he boils, he grinds, then, attentively, he pours. Flavor is... I guess I've gotten rusty. He looks out of the window. One after another people make their way home while it's still dusk. The street grows gradually more desolate until there's no one out at all. Only then does he chuckle to himself, bitterly. Seriously, what the hell am I waiting for? He finishes his coffee and prepares to tidy everything away and get out of here. A knock comes from the door. Costa remembers he never even shut it. Who is it? Good evening. Are you still open?
Mr. Dolly, you promise you've made it clear to the little black sheep not to cause trouble like this anymore?
Yep, many more mess and I'll disavow them as my clones.
The dozy creature tumbles about in the air, and the agitated creature headbutts walls in the street.
Mr. Dolly!
Fine, I'll try as hard as I can.
The dozy one attempts to walk calmly.
See? Much better.
But I still caused plenty of chaos at the trade fair today.
But the air was full of the smell of joy, you mean? It's sugary sweet even now. It's just like the first time I took a walk across the countries you talk about. Where there's hilly areas, you can glide. Where there's watery areas, you can surf. I even had a couple of bastard annoying animals chasing me all over the wilds. Every place produces something different. Knowing how your human race can't just tour the whole place, getting to see such interesting things must be novel for you, right?
Why do I get the sense you're showing off, Mr. Dolly?
Busted. Did you even have fun today, Adele? Hot springs let you relax, skateboarding's a thrill, and that loud-ass penguin's loud-ass music got you pumped up, didn't it?
Mr. Dolly, those children could see the lamps.
How is it this hard to cheer you up? There's that brooding flavor in the air again, bitter and tart.
Adele turns away to hide a little giggle, then recovers her straight face.
Mr. Dolly, we're here. I need to leave the owner a note saying we found the exhibit and thank you for worrying about us. I have the pen and paper in my bag. Oh, is this cafe open again?
Dim yellow lights perfuse the interior. Through the windows, the cafe's furnishings can vaguely be made out. Costa pours hot water, the sound breaking the silence between him and his customer. Condensation fills the windows. Adele gently wipes the hot spring's white mist from the glass and finally catches a proper glimpse of the customer.
What did we stop for? Aren't we going in for coffee?
Professor Keller? I got the Atlas of Terra's volcanoes. I never thought you'd keep it safe for so many years. Thank you.
I asked the little lady. She came here looking for some exhibit. Just so happened to be the Volcano Museums. Is, she your employee?
Adele is my student.
Ah, your student. Right.
You've been
quite the miserable worker at City Hall lately, gathering signatures for an LOI to relocate the residents.
My parents left their own little clothing shop. Reasonably speaking, I should need to sign too.
Do you have any objections to the redevelopment then?
Our family stopped leaning on this place for our livelihood long ago. If it would make your work go any smoother.
Of course, and thank you for your cooperation. Want another cup?
Can't that come with the old complimentary chat then?
As a qualified barista, listening is part of my work. Take a seat then.
Maybe we should go, Mr. Dolly. Today doesn't seem like the right one to leave a message.
Aw, but the coffee smells so good. Can we have some?
The agitated creature prepares to charge headlong into the cafe.
Hey!
The closed glass door blocks the lamp's strike, and it hardly makes as loud a noise as she expected. It simply turns tail and shoots back into the street, where it tumbles around. Adele nervously observes how the two inside react. Why did you up and leave when you did?
I met two very interesting people. When you study volcanoes, you're always visiting new places.
I remember. You met each other in here a lot.
And if they came, you'd plug your guitar in, and off you went with your heavy metal racket. Magna always felt that boy at the cafe never seemed to welcome them too much.
Ah, I was just a little too willful of a brat back then. It wasn't meant at them specifically.
I know, and they didn't take it to heart. You gave them coffee soda to try once, and make us swear to secrecy that we wouldn't tell Grandpa Mockingbird.
He couldn't stand the drinks I came up with. Every time I added them to the menu, he'd wipe them off. They were just as bizarre to him as my axe and my drum kit. By the way, that wasn't just your average coffee soda. It was called volcanic coffee.
Alright, yes, volcanic coffee. It was a nice drink in any case. After we went to Lithanian, Katya would follow your recipe to recreate the flavor for himself.
How are Katya and Magda doing? I remember when you left Siesta, you said you'd be visiting every volcano across the land with them.
I spent a long time with them on our travels. But a few years ago, we strayed apart.
Strayed?
Yes. And we're never to meet again.
Was it... I'm so sorry.
Hence why I came back. Opened that museum. Hoped I would preserve all the research they'd done.
When I saw you at the museum that day, it totally blindsided me. It was a great surprise to me too. You're nothing like the noisy little child I remember. You too. You're a museum curator and everything. I suppose I've turned an old ideal or two into reality. No matter what though, the conviction that keeps me going now isn't really what drove me in the first place anymore. Still, change isn't always a bad thing, wouldn't you say? The two lapse into silence for a while. The customer lightly stirs at the coffee in her cup. Did you go to the trade fair today? The trade fair? I did. Tourists were profuse, proprietors were in high spirits, much like the old Siesta of old. Maybe once this place is all rebuilt and the tourist influx comes, I'll have an idea or two about what's next for me. For example? Who knows? I'll probably keep running a cafe, but maybe a rock and roll cafe, or just a music shop filled to the walls with drum kits and guitars. Lots to try. Always someone out there who'll enjoy it. Just like you say. Just like the Siesta of old. Oh, something very funny that happened today too. I was at the trade fair and I saw this soft drink from Colombia. The recipe was 1-for-1 with my volcanic coffee. The exact same. Well, I didn't leak your secret recipe. No, it was a year ago when I was planning to shutter the shop. I told somebody else about how to make it. But honestly, it's just coffee plus soda water. Of course some Colombian could have come up with it on their own too. Hand-brewed coffee and soda water? How did you come up with it at first? When I was young, I thought coffee was so bitter, I was convinced I had to add something to even make it drinkable. You shook the whole cafe playing your rock and roll, and yet you were bad with bitter. I don't care about something like that back then. Keller laughs, downing the last gulp of coffee in her cup. The aroma lingers lazily in the cafe air. So, want soda in this cup too? Sure. But after this one, I may well genuinely spend the whole night awake.
Adele, let me just be upfront. I told them what I told them, but a whole lot of them are dying to go inside, probably to taste the volcanic coffee. To make up for the owner's losses, I can leave a product from today's trade fair in their in exchange.
A product from the fair? Where'd you get it?
A lovely little child gave me it. Honest.
We can't go in now.
The agitated creature sniffs in the corner. The dozy creature turns over a box. The restless lambs drag a case of glass bottles out from the junk to Adele's side and zealously churn through it for something. Eventually, they get a few bottles of carbonated water clamped in their mouths and pull off the metal caps, acting like they've found treasure.
What are you doing? Didn't you want a soda?
The lambs bounce about, each one with a shiny bottle cap on their head. Then they line up together and playfully scamper away.
I said to wait. What makes them even more impatient than me?
What was all that?
Oh, that's the seed they were after.
What about these bottle caps? Makes them seeds?
The world as they see it isn't quite the world you all see. This itty-bitty little round thing gets taken by foul beasts to places far away, where it takes root and sprouts and becomes something completely unlike before. Some become soda caps, some become saw slits. Each one has a different flavor, but they all have their own charms. Assume at least one of them drank that sort of volcanic coffee in Colombia before, so this rings that bell in them particularly loud. Isn't it more than fascinating to view the world that way?
The little left-behind creature digs at the soil.
But all that granted, just because you planted the bottle caps doesn't mean they're going to grow into drinks.
Let them have their fun. The answers will grow by themselves.
Hello, Costa here. Mr. Costa, this is your grandfather's clinician. I'm sorry to tell you this, but your grandfather passed away this evening. I can't know if this will be any comfort to you, but I want you to know he left us peacefully. Oh boy, my dear Costa. Alright, but before we continue, like I said, we have to do this very quickly. Time to get the boy on board.
俺はエニス。今日から正式にロドスにお世話になります。え？コードネーム？そうっすね。じゃあ、ブライオファイタってことで一つよろしく。苔のようにどこにでも生えて、山の巨岩や海の岩礁、あらゆる場所に足跡を残せますようにってね。
Thanks, bud. Alright. Going back here, time to just add the title and description of the second training stage. Clap along with me. When you see me, clap your hands, then hurry up and follow me. And the stage after, cutscene only stage ST-2, Rain, Rain, Go Away. It'd be great if this weren't a dream, and if it is, then it's just a great dream. The setting sun seems to be the last customer of the small shop. The one behind the counter is no longer a familiar old man, but a coffee-colored creature. It cranks a grinder handle, and the aroma of coffee wafts into the air with bits and pieces of finely ground beans. A record spins slowly as a loudspeaker sings leisurely. Oh, welcome.
I don't think I saw you earlier. Are you new here?
I think so, because I don't have any memories from yesterday. I don't know why I'm here, but I thought I'd make a cup of coffee. Oh, would you like one? Coffee has a nimbly wonderful flavor that comes only when you brew it by hand. Now let's see, where did I put those newly arrived beans? I should have stored them myself. Seems like it's behind some kind of guitar. Talk of guitars is suddenly making me a little angry. How odd. What's got my heart frazzling?
Guitar? Angry? Are you okay?
Never mind. Maybe it's because that guitar looks a bit boring. Please, sit anywhere you like. The one you're waiting for will be soon here.
The one I'm waiting for?
Are you waiting? Or is the other? I can't tell.
Oh, you're here. I remember you.
Good evening, Adele.
So sorry I'm late. Did you remember to have breakfast today? Yes, I did. Huh? Why did you ask?
Good girl.
You've changed your clothes. Are you ready? Clothes? Huh? Isn't this Mutti's coat?
Pack your things. Let's go shopping. We'll go buy some things we need to climb a volcano. The sun inches down, bit by bit, as the street lamps along the path light up like stars. Adele's vision is a little fuzzy, as if she has seen a sky like this somewhere, sometime before. Was there a short street in that small town on Lithuania's southern border, or on the road back home from her school in her memories? She can even remember the smell of the air then, slightly moist, with a hint of sunshine and plants growing, exactly the same as now.
Is this your shopping mall?
Yes. We have to make some preparations before we climb the volcano.
I know there's many things we need to bring. A compass, protective clothing, a camera, a tent, and some flint too if we're camping overnight.
No, we won't need those in here. First, we need to buy enough knowledge, courage, and curiosity. Check the prices before buying one of each. And lastly, buy a little luck. But luck is very expensive, and often the fastest to sell out, so it's alright to skip it if you don't have the budget.
I see.
The fluffy creature shakes itself, and several soda bottle caps fall from her wool. They clink and tinkle into the merchant's pouch.
Thank you for your generosity.
I may need to buy a bit more courage.
I have enough courage to climb the volcano, but I need a bit more courage to leave home. The fluffy critter shakes itself again, more caps falling out. The merchant opens its pouch, waiting for more.
Not enough, not enough. If the pouch isn't full, I can't give you courage. If the pouch isn't full.
If you don't manage to buy courage, will you be able to climb the volcano?
It's alright, Adele. Things like this happen all the time. I've gradually become used to finding courage by and for myself. Adele, let's get moving. We must be careful on our journey and look after our things well.
Things? But I didn't bring anything with me.
Someone wants to steal the photograph. Follow me and keep an eye on my package, okay?
What did you just say? I didn't catch that.
We can't go on like this, Adele. Here, for you. The cuddly creature shakes itself, and a fluff of wool falls out.
What's this?
Go on, put it on your ear, and you'll be able to hear. Now we have to find the next one. There is yet another fluffy critter, covering a window in front of him with photographs. He turns his head at the sound of footsteps. His fluffy back fidgets repeatedly, covering the window full of photos. Oh, you two, you're finally here.
We have much to prepare. How's the weather looking?
The sky is full of thick clouds. I'm afraid it might rain soon.
Do we still have time?
Not much left. We'll need to hurry. Adele looks at the sky without a cloud in sight.
Do you need me to buy an umbrella?
No, Adele. Look, I'm an umbrella.
We can't let the photograph get wet or be stolen. I'll keep it safe in my package. What is this photograph you're talking about?
Shh. I hope you never find out. And if you do, then it happens far, far in the future. The solemn creature lowers his head. Let's go. We'll head upwards in a bit, and that's where we want to go. You don't have enough wool yet, Adele. Here, this is mine.
Oh, okay.
The two creatures seem to have shrunk a little, and Adele looks just like one of them.
Oh, the wool seems to be bumping me upwards.
That means our trip is about to begin.
How's the view up there?
Always great before the rain falls.
And how are you feeling?
Always great before the rain falls.
And you, Adele? You seem to be in a good mood.
The petite critter follows them, skipping and hopping. Along the street, the lights, the clouds, and the stars, it tries its best to get higher and higher.
Wow, I think it's gotten stronger. Will it come with us?
The fluffy critter doesn't answer, and she bites onto a corner of Adele's coat. Clink, clank, they step on the lights. Adele feels as if she's flying. People are come and go on the street. No, it is sheep that are moving to and fro.
Oh, be careful, you might run into someone. They're selling flowers up ahead, I need to hurry. No need to rush still, your rainbow is all crooked. Here, let me help you straighten it. Alright, off you go. Thank you, see you, so long.
Little black sheep shuffle through these streets one after another, going in and out of shops. The streets at night have taken on a different look. Adele turns her head to look for her two companions, who were separated by the waves of little black sheep. As soon as she turns, she's greeted by the sight of two fluffy creatures quietly standing right behind her. It is as if they have been waiting here for countless years. Adele, you have to plant a pebble when you return this time.
A pebble?
Yes, just like we did with a small hunk of rock before. We buried it in the ground, which was originally in a very dark shade, until it met many different kinds of rocks.
Let me guess, because you bought a lot of luck for it?
The two fluffy critters continue jumping upwards, towards the sky, seeming more distant than ever. Adele stands in between, her hands outstretched holding onto their wool. Well, that is one reason. But the important bit is that I water it with love every day.
And memories. Can you buy those in shops too?
No, little one.
Love and memories are our own treasures. They will grow on the paths you thread, in your embraces, and on the cheeks you kiss. But sometimes they go unnoticed, so we always have to work hard to find them.
That little stone traveled through many mountains underground, and followed the rivers through many a place. Knocking and bumping into things, and finally we realized we had no idea where it had gone. We lost it.
Then, are you too sad because of that?
We feel regret. Perhaps we shouldn't have planted it, or maybe we should have planted it somewhere we could see. Every little stone is unique, and we lost what was ours.
But I recall that it turned into lava in the end, warm and piping hot, and we all loved it.
Yes, we loved it.
Then, that's alright. It managed to turn into lava in the end, and you didn't forget it. I think this little stone was already fortunate enough.
Maybe it's a dream.
A dream, a story. A story circling in my head that needed us to tell you about it. Then if you ever meet this rock again one day, do you think you'll be able to recognize it?
Adele, my little rascal. Will we still recognize it? No, it has already turned into beautiful lava. Red hot lava rushing forward, never to look back again. We will never ever meet it again. We will only be at its back. It will go to places we have never been, to see sights we have never seen. And all we need is to remember this story, to tell it to you. You will also have to plant your own little pebble, and then watch it take root and sprout. Watch it go far away.
Look, Adele, we've reached the peak.
The little stones have already turned into lava. The eruption is about to begin.
Is this story about to end too?
Not at all. This is just the beginning. It will turn into a cloud and then fall back to the ground. It will no longer be a rock, but a handful of warm and white volcanic ash.
It is the little stones turning into nutritious volcanic ash that allows the land to bloom. Our little stone will return. Someday, when that happens, we'll be able to see it again. Will that be a long time? Or will it be soon? Maybe. We don't know. Come, Adele. Hold on to me. We too will turn into clouds and then fall back to the earth. We're going to fly down together.
Adele hugs the creature by her side and tries making a step. She falls downwards, but it is slow and light, as if she is floating. She sees her hair flying around her, the other little black sheep lightly jumping around the lights on the shops. The wool on her body holds her up, enveloping her, an experience already in the depths of her childhood memories. Her parents hold her up and throw her into the sky to catch the stars above. She falls into the wool, fluffy and soft beneath. The stars fall into her eyes, and her eyes grow hot. Shadows come and go on the street, and Adele tries to get on her feet, wanting to share this fantastic feeling with the two fluffy creatures by her side.
Where are we going next? I spotted many little shops in the distance when we were above earlier. Should we go around and take a look? I'll go and look for places where we can find more bottle caps so we can buy more of the things we want.
Adele's breathing quickens with her excitement.
The little black sheep from earlier mentioned a flower shop just ahead. My mother used to always place some flowers by my bed when I was young. Do you like flowers? Those small and white flowers that look like you do. Look, just like the one on that little black sheep.
The fluffy creatures fall silent, no longer replying. The stars in the sky dim and then light up as they open their mouths.
Little one. I know the bedside flowers do smell really good. I love them too. Then I'll buy some and make garlands for you. Just wait for me here. I haven't made one in a long time.
The remainder of Adele's words choke in her throat. She realizes the fluffy critters have stopped following her, the flowers and leaves from her staff fluttering around the two. They take a few steps back, their figures melting into the night.
No, Adele. We have to go. The clouds have gathered and will never again disperse.
Yes, it's time.
Where are you going? We have to head back up the volcano before it starts to rain.
Up the volcano.
Don't go to the volcano.
No, Adele. The rain will soon fall.
If we don't go, everything we've done before will be for naught.
You will drown if you stay somewhere low. Adele, you have to go to the peak.
It has a beautiful view, and also the truth.
Adele, I hope that you can stay pure and focused. This land is not at all pure, but there shouldn't be anything disturbing the heart of someone keen for answers.
We want to expand the boundaries of what humanity knows, together with you.
We're working our hardest for this reason, and you'll definitely stand on our shoulders to see a clearer and lovelier land.
Adele. So long, Adele.
Bittersweet. Continuing on to stage number 6, titled Little Cabin in the Wood. The climbing picks jingle, the tiny rocks shine black and bright. Be careful when heading up and down the mountain, lest the rocks be your plight. Meanwhile, in yet another place... A disaster! This is a disaster, I tell you! You call this interior design? No wonder no one hires Siestans for design work. This is a tourist destination, yet it has no architectural style of its own, and you don't even know how to copy someone else's properly. How could you sully the elegance of Victorian style like this? Look at this table. I said I wanted it to have a marble-like texture. Instead you went with this cheap, low-quality wood.
Perhaps you should look at your budget and again see if you gave me enough for even half a slab of fox marble.
Huh. Alright. Looks like you don't quite understand your place, Miss Anmeyer. If it wasn't for me, you'd still be following these Argonian caravans, fumbling your way around town. There's nothing stopping me from reporting you to the cops as an undocumented immigrant who illegally entered Colombia. Then you won't see so much as a dime.
If you do that, I'll report you for sheltering and hiring an illegal immigrant. Now pay me.
Why, you... What a foolish Siestan. So crude and disrespectful. Then the city's so stupid as to willingly give up their obsidian mining industry, their bread and butter. There are bound to be citizens like you with no respect for others.
Money first. Yell at him only after you get the money.
Nothing to say. The tragic thing about you is that you haven't even realized Siesta's foolishness. And you're here shouting and accusing me.
I can't make nothing from this job. I need my traveling money.
If you people had chosen to join Victoria all those years ago, you would long have become citizens of the Empire, indulging in the opulence the Empire has to offer, and found your place in the Empire's grand history. Instead, you're here trying to earn a bit of coin to get on your way. Looks like you're at least savvy enough to understand my point. Like this. It's your pay. Counted well. It's in Victorian pounds. You know the denominations, right? Don't you even think I'm trying to shortchange you. At least you make yourself seem ill-mannered.
Mister, you aren't deserving of my manners. You don't know anything about Siesta's history. You don't even know the first thing about the Victorian architectural history you're so proud of. What's more, Victoria's glory is all thanks to your ancestors' contributions. It hasn't got one bit to do with you. Why don't you go and take a look at the buildings in Victoria and see how Siesta's obsidian has changed your architectural style and become the kind of luxury commodity that you snobs adore so much? Who's the one with the narrow perspective here?
Why, you?
The Siestans closed off the mines to protect the environment. Everything we do it for the sake of our homeland's future. Not like some stingy man who's just talking about the glorious past over and over to win himself respect. I'm going back to rebuilding my homeland and help breathe new life into it. But what about you? What have you done for Victoria given the shape it's in these days?
Anmire curls her lips a little and measures the thickness of the stack of bills with her hand.
Even the Colombian demolition crews pay me more, oh noble employer. I only hope your taste will help you make your comeback. Now, cheerio.
Much spunk. Much like.
Need to go over anything again? It doesn't hurt to be careful.
Everything of value is still here. The house is in one piece. That's good enough for me.
I'll send you the reward I promised you. The exhibition grade obsidian and the certificate will make it to you in probably 2 months.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it. The collector's eyes briefly lights up, though his excitement doesn't last particularly long.
Is there some kind of bewitching power to these obsidians that has you enthralled like this?
Are you interested in obsidian yourself? I suppose not. I've learned my lesson. There are very few people out there who truly have an eye for their beauty. Most have their eyes on obsidians are up to no good. Never mind. I shan't bother you any longer. Goodbye.
Mr. Pelipper Brown, are you perhaps related to the bankrupt Siesta tycoon, Pete Brown?
Don't even mention that scary old man.
There may not be many who still remember him, but I'm sure he was much more well known back when Obsidian was still Siesta's main expert. I spotted this name while I was going over the data. I didn't expect his successor to be running a little hot spring hotel in the area.
The volcano gave Siesta plenty of riches, and the hot springs are no less wonderful than the obsidian. The old man died a couple of years ago. A ribafy. He never went anywhere close to the mines, but he got infected on his way to Colombia for vacation, when the car's Originium engine broke down.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
He wasn't really a good man, but his mines did create many jobs. If his prospective measures were just a little more comprehensive, perhaps he wouldn't won the gratitude. Perhaps he would have won the gratitude of the miners.
I've heard that when the government announced the ban on obsidian mining, your mines were the first ones to work towards shutting down.
What else was it supposed to do? The only alternative I had was to break the law.
Alright, Mr. Brown. I hope we'll get to work together again in the future. Your hot spring hotel is very spectacular. Would you perhaps be interested in developing it into a hot spring resort?
I'll pass. I'd rather not go through all the ruckus. That is, unless you make me an offer that I truly can't refuse. Say an even bigger obsidian that's even more pleasing to the eye.
Speaking of which, your obsidian collection here have all been delicately cut and polished. How come there's a geode that hasn't been polished whatsoever?
Oh, don't you get any funny ideas about it. That thing's more expensive than all the pieces in the hotel combined.
Adele? Adele? Is this Muti's hand? So warm. Muti is stroking my shoulder. Wake up, Adele. Adele, you mustn't sleep here. You'll catch a cold. I won't. It's very warm when you're here by my side. Muti. Adele?
Geller hides the surprised expression on her face and reaches her hand out to gently pat Adele's head.
Are you awake? Oh, Professor Keller. Did I just... I'm sorry, Professor Keller. I fell asleep. You seem exhausted. Did you have a nightmare? Are you feeling unwell? Or is it your illness? I'm okay.
Adele sees that the elder scholar is looking at her with a worried expression. Her eyes are full of concern. During their short time together, she has never seen the stern scholar look so gentle.
Professor Keller, could you tell me just what happened at William University all those years ago?
I don't understand, Adele. What are you asking? No, Adele. We have to go. Yes, it's time.
Where are you going?
We have to head back up the volcano before it starts to rain.
Rain. Professor Keller, does the word rain have any other meaning?
Silence. Keller bites her lip, as though there is something that she wants to say, but she nonetheless swallows those words back down. Adele, when this observation is over, I will tell you everything. All right?
Mr. Dolly, you told me before that every little black sheep is different. They aren't just your clones, right? Are those dreams really just dreams? I found the northern wind and the seed. Will you give me all those answers if we find the fur? Why does it seem like everyone is hiding just about everything from me?
There is no answer. And unlike the mischievous kind of silence she got before, Adele can feel that something has truly disappeared from her side. Adele looks around the empty exhibit hall and finds the whistling rock specimen that was lost and then recovered a few days ago, sitting where it has sat, having not moved an inch.
Mr. Dolly?
On a radio, good morning, Siesta. Today is August 21st, 1099. The humidity is 63%, visibility 12 kilometers, winds blowing south-southwest, estimated 3 days until volcanic eruption. The exciting time is almost upon us. How is everyone feeling? Who do you want to share the moment with? Did any of you forget anything back in old Siesta? If you did, that's too bad. I mean, what's anyone supposed to do? You only have yourself to blame for being so careless in your move. It's all too late now. But whatever the case may be, we should try to look at the bright side. It's only by casting away our old burdens that we can better welcome the future. You go your way. Let's get our day started with this song from the Reef Band. Watch out, be careful, hold that sign up. It's a bit heavy, so get a good grip. It's such an old sign. Since we're tearing things down anyway, can't we cut it up first before we take it down? Yeah, we may be tearing the place down and moving, but if old Mockingbird were to find out about you cutting his sign down with an axe, he'd climb out of his grave and beat the living hell out of you. Stop complaining. 3, 2...
Mister, are all these instruments here discounted?
Yeah, they're all as cheap as they get. I couldn't bring myself to, but I figured I wouldn't have a chance to sell them once I move to the city center. Keep the instruments on gag order. Now that would be a real waste. How about it? Why don't you pick one? I remember you said you've always wanted your own guitar. I could give you a free textbook on how to play too.
This discounted guitar goes for 150 certs, and he says he earns 3 for every hour he works. Let me think about it.
Not like we can bring it with us. Might as well take it out and let everyone have some fun. We want to do something special that we can look back on before we all move out of the street. Like what? Drink? Look at the sea? Set off some fireworks? Well, we'll invite all the old miners that we used to drink with and the other shopkeepers on the street. Have them bring their friends and family. How about we have a party at the Empty Plate the night before the eruption? A container party? Sounds cool, doesn't it? Mr. Costa. Oh, the punk from White Volcano. What are you doing here? Don't you need to look after the shop? We're preparing for our move too. We don't have a lot of customers these days. If I don't come out to earn some cash, we all might just go hungry. I'm sorry about Grandpa Mockingbird. May he rest in peace. He was getting on in years. It was going to happen. Perhaps he is some other place, sharing his taste in coffee. No need to be so polite. Just a couple years ago, you were still a punk who would come out to watch my concerts at night instead of going to bed. Just call me Costa like before. If I remember correctly, it was the Corybantic Costa. I'm not so Corybantic anymore. My guitar, bass, synth, sold them all long ago. Truth be told, I really miss sneaking into the venues with the adults too. Those were the good times. You'll get it once you get a little older. There are no such things as good times. All times are a waste of time. It's only after we waste our time away that we can bring our memories back out, dust them off, and think back on how great those times were. Thinking back, I must have pissed Grandpa off so much back then. The city hall staffer squints at the cars on the street. The cars zoom past them, leaving behind a few streaks of silhouette in his vision. So, Ennis, if there's anything you want to do, do it now. Don't wait till everything you knew no longer resembled what you once were. By then, it's all too late. Yeah, I will. Costa taps Ennis's shoulder and sighs. The residents of the shopping district have, for the most part, agreed to the rebuilding proposal, and my work has come to an end, for the time being. With the way things are, this isn't so bad. Life must go on.
Strange. I haven't seen a single sheep on my way here. We have to go now.
Yes, it's time. The streets today seem awfully quiet.
Was it all just a dream? No, that ladder, the rock, and the surfboard that flew right into the sky, they were all real.
Adele tries her hardest to think back on what proof she had that all the adventures she had the past few days were real, but the harder she digs into her memories, the less believable her memories become.
Mr. Dolly. Are you there? Mr. Dolly? Mr. Dolly? Are you still there?
The girl's voice is carried away by the wind.
Your blood crystal density is fluctuating a little, but for the most part it's still within the normal range. You said you pass out suddenly. What do you mean by that, more specifically? Dr. Ceylon, can neuropathy cause hallucinations? Theoretically, it's possible. What did you see? Lots of little black sheep, and they all talk to me. And I don't know why, but it feels just like I've seen them before. Well, that sounds like it could have been caused by stress. But it's weird, some old miners have told me about similar hallucinations when they came in for consultations. Let's keep an eye out for a few more days. During that time, make sure you take your medicine on time and get as much rest as you can.
if you get any hallucinations again or feel unwell, come to me immediately. Okay. If only all my patients would be so cooperative as Eyjafjalla, things would be so much easier for me as a doctor. Not like a certain someone someone here who's always giving me a headache. Stop chewing me out. I'm here for my follow-up and my medicine, am I not? Alright, this counts as an improvement. As a way to encourage you, I won't charge you for this consultation. Really? But I have something I want to ask you. A few days ago, I found this basket of obsidian on the shopping district. None of the shops nearby admitted that it was theirs. Do you have any clues about its origins? Well... Judging from their color, these obsidians are very similar to the one you gave me before. It could very well have been mined around the same time from the volcano. No, it wasn't me. I promise. I haven't been near the volcano since I got infected. So you mean there are still people mining obsidian illegally? Ennis, what else do you know? But, well, I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't know anything about it. Don't try to fudge your way out of this. Out with it! Dr. Ceylon, some of the workers here know you're the mayor's daughter. It was hard enough to get them to come to you for consultations. If you dig into who's mining obsidian... True, what they're doing's not right, but this might just be a conflict of interest. I'm me, and the mayor's the mayor. Why must I be grouped together with him? I came back here this time because I wanted to do something for Siesta with my knowledge. The Rhode Island office is my blood, sweat and tears. He's got nothing to do with it. It seems like Dr. Ceylon really doesn't like Mayor Herman. Maybe Ceylon isn't on very good terms with her father? Anyway, Ennis, you know who the obsidian belongs to, right? Take me to them. It makes me feel kind of like I'm selling them out, but if it's for the greater good... Alright. Take me with you. I can help identify obsidian. No can do. Last time you almost sneaked away. You aren't leaving here until you get enough rest. Huh? What about me? I'll take you out to eat. After the night has shrouded the street, Adele steps outside the office. A lone little black sheep stands outside, staring blankly at the closed door. Huh? Another hallucination? What's going on? Didn't I just get some rest? Adele goes around the little black sheep and prepares to go back home. The little black sheep staggers a little and turns around from the office's door. It sways its head and turns on the miner's lamp on its back. The lamp shines and illuminates the path before Adele. Adele takes a step forward and steps onto the shadow cast by the lamp on the sheep's back. There's really a light? She turns around and hastily reaches her hand out and probes. Then she feels some warm, fluffy wool. Not a hallucination? No, I've seen you before. You're the sheep who ate the address of the letter. What's that you're carrying on your back? A miner's lamp? The sheep says nothing. Alright, and we have one new addition here, very quick. The Fashion Street Stellar Caster. A fluffy critter that has found something nice from a mysterious divination shop that will make anyone who notices it see stars. It's very clever and knows that the next most important thing after a wand is the magic hat on its head. Harry Potter? Anyway, continuing with the after part. Here are the results of the latest public opinion survey. The Swire Group's Aquatic Paradise proposal is supported by 33% of those polled, while the MountainDash Logistics Center proposal is supported by 21% of those polled. The other competitors are all hovering at around 10%. Although the result of the public opinion survey is only one of the factors that the city government considers when making its decision, based on the current results, the Swire Group's proposal has the advantage.
Say no more. I'm sure Mr. Bison here can figure out the situation by himself.
Surely Miss Swire didn't invite me and the city government here just to gloat over the results?
Of course not. Bison, sir, I'd like to make a deal. The Swire Group will drop out of the bidding, but in return, I want to buy into MountainDash Logistics as company here.
Hasn't that been your goal all along?
Not entirely, but I thought about it a little afterwards. And you being here isn't all bad news to me. A smart business person always looks for possibilities where both parties gain something and makes decisions that yield the maximum profits given the situation.
Going by what you said, if you were really so confident, you wouldn't have come to negotiate with me.
Well, would you not agree that trading a percentage of your shares in exchange for your biggest rival's exit is a good deal?
How much are you looking at? Swire lightly knocks on the table 3 times.
I want this much.
I will report your arrangements to the mayor and continue to inform you of any further arrangements. I wish you two a pleasant time in Siesta. Is that all for the show?
For the time being, I guess. What's so funny?
Sorry. I just didn't expect that you'd resort to these means too, Commissioner Swire.
If I were to openly invest in MountainDash's business, forget about registering our own company. They'd write MountainDash up for thousands of reasons and shut it down on our first day in Siesta. My family is wary of me. Good thing they aren't that wary of me yet. As long as they still see me as a young, hot-headed superintendent, I can still cover my actions with that as a ruse.
I'm really fortunate that I'm not actually your business rival.
This is just the first step, though. The Federation of Enterprises will put it all together sooner or later. We'll face all sorts of difficulties going forward. Are you ready?
Having come this far, it's probably too late for me to have any regrets.
Well, partners then?
Yeah, I look forward to... Your terminal?
No, isn't yours?
Swire and Bison each take out their terminals. They take a brief look at each other before hitting their respective answer keys. Hello, is this Bison, the legal representative of Mountain Trade? Hello, is this Miss Swire? The City Hall has received a report that your company has illegally employed undocumented infected. At this point, we need your company to immediately cease all operations. Please prepare the following documents for the city government's investigation. First, we need the list of all infected employees working for your company. Miss Swire, that was an interesting show, and it did buy you some time for your prank. Unfortunately, the group is very unhappy with your decision. You should know that there are limits to what you should and shouldn't do. This investment game is over. Thank you for your cooperation. Goodbye. This stops here. I hope you'll think about the consequences of your actions. This is some uncalled for slander.
Well, it's pretty obvious who snitched on us. They're trying to buy time right before we sign our contract just so they can catch up. But why use the infected as an excuse? Since when has Siesta had any policies against the infected in any way?
We don't have time to deal with these setbacks. If only we could convince Mayor Herman...
You're right. Herman is our chance at a breakthrough. But what reason does he have to stand on our side? Besides, if my hunch is correct, he's probably being pressured in some other way right now.
Mayor Herman, you're a hard man to reach. I thought my answer before was more than clear. There is nothing for you and I to discuss in person. Naturally, Colombia respects all the rights that Siesta enjoys as an independent city-state. I am here today for a different matter, Siesta's infected question. Colombian federal law states that infected citizens must be enrolled in a suitable healthcare plan in order to reside in our nomadic cities. Otherwise, they must join the pioneer teams. Siesta was not a nomadic city, and so it was not bound by this regulation. However, given the current circumstances, we need to re-evaluate the rule of law here. So this bird game is your idea of pressuring me. I hope you grasp the situation, Mayor Herman. This is not a negotiation. Since when do we need to be so sneaky about buying obsidian? What choice do we have? They've been pretty strict with inspections lately, but this is a great opportunity for people like you, in the know, to seize the day. The logistics center will be done soon, and there are lots of merchants waiting to buy obsidian. What has Siesta obsidian ever been all... When has Siesta obsidian ever been all that rare? You probably have plenty hidden in your shop yourself. Why come to me? What they want is freshly mined obsidian. What's it, Volcano heated obsidian contains the land's energy and has amazing health benefits. Alright, I'll stop messing with you. Do you have any other new obsidian pieces, aside from this basket? Whatever you've got, I have buyers lined up. If the quality is good enough, they're willing to pay this much. And he gestures a number with his hands. That much? Yeah, I do. I dug up a bunch just a couple days ago. Oh, so recently? Yep, I kept some real pretty ones. Look, these are some mighty fine obsidians, don't you think?
They're lovely indeed. Now, would you please tell me more about your illegal obsidian mining operation?
Ernest, you set me up, didn't you? When did you fall so low? This isn't exactly a setup now, is it? A cop with a really loud mouth taught me this. Sorry, Uncle Jackie. This is for your own good. You shouldn't put your health on the line. We just have a couple questions we want to ask you. Work with us, will you? That's everything. Are you gonna lock us up now?
Who were you planning to sell the obsidian to?
Is it Pelipper? No, Pelipper stopped buying from us a long time ago, and he's a man of his word. He hasn't bought a single pebble. No matter how high quality the obsidian, he doesn't so much as take a single glance. You got all this out of us, but what good is it going to do? The bastard Herman's always doing whatever he wants without a thought to the consequences. First he made us all stop mining obsidian, then he said a volcano was going to erupt. It's been 2 years since we moved here, and it hasn't so much as let out a puff of smoke. Maybe he should have taken a look at where our money was coming from just a couple years ago.
But doesn't Siesta have really lax infected policies?
That doesn't mean they've got jobs for us. If all the out-of-work miners became drivers, they could probably tow the city a couple kilometers. Besides, I'm already infected. What else can I do? Once MountainDash Logistics moves into the city, we'll have even more people without work. Now the mayor's talking about tearing the shopping district down. Why tear it down even? Just to chase us out of here? Maybe. Maybe the mayor will come up with a policy to help you guys. Forget it. Haven't you heard? They're going to chase us infected out. The Colombians are here.
Where did you hear that?
We all know how the Colombians treat the infected. If something does end up happening, we might as well just head out into the wastes ourselves and start pioneering. That shellbrain, Herman. The darn shellbrain! What's wrong? You sick? No, Dr. Salen, they're also... The mayor must be having a tough time too. Don't get mad over this.
No, I'm not mad. I thought this was just going to be warning a few men to stop illegal mining. But if the Colombians are here, that changes everything. This is Siesta's own problem. Sir, how many are still mining obsidian? I'll come out and say it. I'm not going to turn you into the police. Annie said it just now. I'm a doctor. I know it's not realistic to just stop your obsidian work. What I want to do is help you solve this problem. Please trust me. So won't you tell me?
What do you mean you're going to help us? Who are you? And why? Hold on, you look familiar. Huh, you finally figured it out, huh? You watched the Obsidian Festival broadcasts, right? Remember the lady at the closing ceremonies with Mayor Herman? Who? No. I'm saying you look a lot like a woman I once met. It was a long time ago, and we worked at the Obsidian mines together. There was a scholar from Victoria. She was pregnant, but she went to the mines every day for environmental service or whatever. She didn't know that much about mining, but she was real kind to us. Oh, now I remember. Her name was, Barbara. The creature with the miner's lamp on its back trots along at short spurts as it gazes towards old Siesta's beach. There, Bird is sitting on the sand, plucking away at her strings spontaneously.
Do you come here often? You can still see old Siesta here. Well, music is pleasing to the ear, and the sound of the waves carried on the wind is good accompaniment for the guitar. I didn't expect you to ask me that though, so you're actually willing to talk. Huh? Isn't this what one would normally do? Yeah, I guess it is. Maybe I'm just a bit too narrow-minded. If everything can talk to everything else, then music might be the best language there is. Even if you don't speak the same language, music can help you convey your truest thoughts. Not bad. This feels like a new inspiration.
Bird starts strumming a slow, relaxed song. The waves rise and fall along to her rhythm.
You two are the first to hear this piece. You two? Oh, are you including this foul beast here? Maybe the grass? No. Don't we have another listener here?
Bird points at the steps next to them, which logically should be empty.
Weren't you talking to it the whole time? Miss Bird, you can see it?
The creature with a miner's lamp on its back stands on the beach and gazes blankly at the silhouette of old Siesta in the distance. It hesitantly tries to step into the seawater, but after a few plods, it walks back onto land. It takes its hoof steps rhythmically, as though it is trying to match the music's beat, though it also looks like it isn't and is just trying to maintain its own rhythm. Ba-dump, ba-dump, ba-dump.
Yeah, I've been able to see it since the day I came to Siesta. Just the one? Are there others? Too bad. This is the only one I can see.
Bird looks at the lamp on the creature's back and the hard hat and goggles on its head.
I wrote the miners of old Siesta a song. Maybe it just happens to like things that have to do with ores. I'll play the song again, just for it.
Bird starts strumming again, while Adele brushes her dress's hem and sits down next to Bird.
Come to think of it,
Even though there hasn't been a single song of mine that could represent my whole life, perhaps there's one or two that could give comfort to somebody out there. Even if my audience is just a lone little black sheep. But that's not so bad. It stayed behind to listen to you play your guitar. You said you could see more of them. Where are they? They disappeared all of a sudden. I don't know where they went. Do they eat road signs like this one? I don't think so. I have an idea. Do you think this one eats road signs because it's a stray sheep? Alright, and for the finale, just to add very quickly, the puzzle stage number 1, Mary had a little fluffy beast. Dolly's here to compete with you. Bah! Bah! Thanks, Dolly. The second puzzle stage, the farmer in the dell. Cotton candy rushes around, and the shepherd pays close attention to avoid it. And the third one, row, row, row your boat. When sailing through the sea of clouds, be extremely wary of accidental explosions. And with that, we have reached the final part for today. Next time around, I think we will be finishing off the entire story, so next time at the end of the episode I will be including the full file and voice file for the outer form of Ea, and we shall see how the story ends. And of course, if there's gonna be in a couple of days anything on the EX stages as cutscenes or whatever, I will probably record a extra episode then, but if there's nothing, there's nothing. Then the next episode is gonna be the final one. But yeah, that's for next time. So, as always, thank you very much for listening and watching. If you've liked this episode, please consider leaving a like on it. It will help me out a lot. If you're new to the channel and have watched all the way so far and are not subscribed, subscribe! If you've liked it so far, you'll probably like the rest of the channel as well. And yeah, enjoy! And of course, if you want to support me and my work more directly, there are memberships of the channel, which, as I always say, will not have anything behind them ever, nothing behind a paywall. It's just there to support me and my work more directly if you so desire. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.